Cornered, caught, and in custody. The manhunt for a lawmaker's alleged assassin is over. The suspect in a deadly shooting spree that shook Minnesota caught in the same woods where it began. Plus, Israel and Iran still bombing, still escalating. Airstrikes, missiles, massive damage, and zero sign either side is backing down. What could come next, and who might get pulled in? And the raids scaled back. The Trump administration tells ICE, leave some migrants on the job. Farms, hotels, meatpacking plants off limits for now. The stories that matter, clear and credible, from across the country to around the world. These are your unbiased updates from Straight Arrow News. Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Let's get right to it on this Monday morning. The man accused of killing one Minnesota lawmaker and wounding another is now in custody. They got him. Authorities say 57-year-old Vance Bolter was spotted on a trail camera earlier in the day Sunday, then captured in the woods, surrendering without a struggle near his farm Sunday night in south central Minnesota. He's accused of shooting Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, who survived at their Champlin home early Saturday, then driving to a second home 9 miles away and killing former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband. Investigators say the violence may have continued if officers had not checked on the Hortman's home. When Brooklyn Park police learned a lawmaker had been shot nearby, they sent patrol officers to check on the Hortman's house and confronted the suspect. Court records reveal police arrived just in time to see Bolter shoot Mark Hortman through the open door of the home, exchanging gunfire with Bolter before he escaped by running off. He's charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder. Bolter is scheduled to appear in court later today. The deadly conflict between Israel and Iran is now in its 4th day, with both sides launching new attacks overnight. At least 5 people were killed, dozens more injured, as Iran fired another wave of missiles into Israel early this morning. One strike landed near the U.S. consulate in Tel Aviv, causing minor damage. No injuries reported, but Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, said in a post on X, the embassy will remain closed today. The attacks also hit an Israeli oil refinery and damaged parts of the power grid. In response, Israel says its fighter jets struck Quds Force command centers. That's the elite clandestine arm of Iran's military. Israeli officials say Iran has launched 370 missiles and hundreds of drones since Friday, killing 24 people and wounding nearly 600. Iran now reports at least 224 dead inside its borders. And this morning, a new flashpoint. President Trump reportedly rejected an Israeli plan to assassinate Iran's supreme leader. In an interview with Fox News on Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu denied any such plan existed.
Yeah, there's so many false reports of conversations that never happened, and I'm not going to get into that. But I can tell you, I think that we do what we need to do. We'll do what we need to do. And I think the United States knows what is good for the United States, and I'm just not going to get it beyond that.
Iran is now threatening to strike U.S. military sites if America continues helping Israel defend against Iranian airstrikes. The G7 summit is underway this morning in the Canadian Rocky Mountains, and once again, all eyes are on President Trump. He arrived in Alberta alongside other world leaders last night, including French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, for high-stakes talks on war, trade, and global stability. But don't expect a kumbaya. There's no planned joint statement, a sign that U.S. allies are bracing for tension. Donald Trump has already slapped tariffs on dozens of countries, including his host, Canada. And with wars still raging in Ukraine and now between Israel and Iran, leaders are hoping to avoid fireworks, diplomatic or otherwise. The president meets today with Canada's prime minister and later this week with Ukrainian President Zelensky. White House officials say they will discuss security, trade, and the future of America's role on the world stage. As immigration protests continue nationwide, the Trump administration is backing off some worksite raids. According to the New York Times, a top ICE official told agents, quote, hold on all worksite enforcement operations. The guidance applies to farms, meatpacking facilities, and the hospitality industry, including hotels and restaurants. Homeland Security confirmed the shift, but says ICE will still target undocumented immigrants with criminal records. Just last week in Nebraska, ICE raided a meatpacking plant in South Omaha, removing dozens of workers as protesters tried to block vehicles from leaving. And this past weekend, former President Barack Obama joined the national conversation, calling out what he describes as a cruel shift in immigration policy. He pointed to his DACA program, which shielded certain young immigrants from deportation, as a model for balancing law and humanity. Posting on X, "It's worth remembering today when families with similar backgrounds who just want to live, work, and support their communities are being demonized and treated as enemies." Obama's remarks come as protests stretch into another week in Los Angeles, with police now moving to clear streets downtown. And while the Trump administration defends its raids, the president wrote on Truth Social that farmers need protection, quote, "but get the criminals out of the USA." We're hearing more now from U.S. Senator Alex Padilla of California. He spoke publicly about FBI agents shoving him to the ground and handcuffing him at a Homeland Security press conference last week. The dramatic moment happened in Los Angeles as Padilla attempted to question DHS Secretary Kristi Noem during remarks she was making on immigration raids and protests. He told CBS News what happened to him is part of a much bigger problem.
Right? If that's how this administration responds to a senator with a question, don't just imagine what they're capable of, but what they are doing when the cameras are not there to people without a title like United States Senator, that cruel, disrespectful treatment of so many people who deserve much better.
Padilla says he was already scheduled for a meeting in that building and was escorted in by law enforcement. He met with Noem afterwards, but says he got nothing substantive in return. What an unbelievable finish at the U.S. Open in Oakmont, Pennsylvania last night. Did you see it? J.J. Spaun, who had never won a major, made back-to-back birdies to win the title. The weather was fit for Noah's Ark. I mean, it was raining buckets in western Pennsylvania on Sunday. There was a long weather delay, and when play continued, about 7 or 8 golfers were bunched up at the top of the leaderboard, many not even shooting par. Guys were missing putts, shanking shots on the fairway and in the rough. Every time they swung, the first thing you would see was this big old splash of water. It was a spectacle. Then on 18, Spaun had about a 65-foot putt and needed to get down in 2. Well, he made the birdie putt. I mean, it was a putt for the ages. The ball rolled and rolled and rolled right into the cup. He hugged his caddy and his family and shed tears of joy on the 18th green. It was truly incredible. You know, what amazes me is I was on the way to church at like 9 in the morning Central Time yesterday. ESPN Radio said the final round of the U.S. Open was getting underway. It was 7:15, and my wife and I had just finished dinner, and they were still playing. It was like 10 hours later, and then this guy makes the most unbelievable putt. So glad I saw it. Those are your unbiased updates for this Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.